So with the weather getting nicer, it is now starting to be a really great time to get you and your pet moving.
Right. Rachael Pridham from Clark's Pet Emporium is here with us today with some expert advice on getting you and your dog outside and out of the couch. That's one of the things that I love being on my couch, but so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Albuquerque's really dog friendly.
Yes.
We have at least 12 really awesome dog parks. You can go on the city's website and find the one that's closest to you. A lot of them are fenced in, so it's a really great area to play a good game of fetch and kind of let your dog off the leash inside the park and know that he's safe. So I do suggest the Chuck It that we brought out is an excellent gift. It's an excellent tool to be able to throw that ball over and over and over again, just how your dog wants it.
Well, right now we're looking at one of the dog parks in town. I'm really surprised to hear you say there are 12 in our town. I mean, that is a lot in one city, so you really have to take advantage of this.
Right.
Look at those cuties.
So, Rachel, do all the parks have water for your dogs? Should you expect them to?
Not all of them, and a lot of them actually shut water off during the winter months, so they may still be off right now. So you always want to make sure to bring water for you and your friend.
Okay.
But we do have excellent ways to do that. There is a lot of water bottles that you can bring with you. And we also have foldable bowls that...
See that?
Yeah. This is actually a completely foldable bowl. You could just stick this in your back pocket and it turns into a water bowl anytime you need it.
Or you can put your Cheerios in there.
Yeah, Cheerios are always good. Yes.
Yep.
It's not for you, it's for the dog.
And you were showing this before. I've seen this before so many times. I love this.
That.
It saves your arm. It saves your arm.
I want that for
really
going to the beach in the summertime.
You could just wing it.
Don't do it. No.
So now, is there an age limit for dogs? I mean,
there is, and it's honestly for the puppy's safety. 6 months is what the city asks is the youngest age. The dog should be at least 6 months to go to a dog park.
Interesting.
And if your puppy has not had vaccinations, I really strongly suggest don't let the dog, don't let your puppy run into strange dogs or go in areas that have high dog traffic. There's a lot of diseases. Viruses like parvo can live dormant for a long time.
That's important to
on
know.
Surfaces. So
I don't think a lot of people would even think
no,
about
I
that.
wouldn't have thought of a dog park. I have a dog, bring a dog. I wouldn't have thought of that. It's great.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, not only do we want them to have a good time, but we want safety. I mean, that's so important, and we don't want any kind of accidents or problems. So I think certain boundaries and rules have to be set. So 6 months is the age limit, and try to have the dog vaccinated before bringing them. So those are great tips. Now, what are some other things you'd recommend bringing? So we have the water. What else would we take with us?
Toys, excellent. Also, retractable leashes are really nice, especially in urban areas, because you can shorten the leash when you're walking, across the street, around traffic, and then you can kind of let the leash go a little bit if it's safe.
That's a great idea.
That's awesome. Right?
Do you have any tips as far as the weather itself is concerned? I mean, would you recommend, when it's a really hot day, would you still recommend going out there, even if you have your water? Is there certain limits that you should take precautions against based on the weather and the heat?
Yeah. With the heat, of course, you want to make sure to bring water. Also, a lot of the dog parks are pretty well shaded, so you can find decent amounts of shade at a lot of the parks. But yeah, really hot weather, I would definitely limit your time outdoors with your pet.
Now, what if I'm a small dog owner and I'm intimidated by those big dogs?
That's a great question.
A lot of the parks actually have a small dog gated off play area.
Oh, that's great.
So you don't have to worry about, your little chihuahua running around with the Great Danes and getting trampled. So
well, that is scary. I mean, it's scary for people, let alone for a little dog. If you see the bigger dogs, and they get excited when they see each other. So you want to make sure to protect. So I was actually curious about that, the difference between the dogs that were bigger versus
smaller. We should have
smaller.
that for people, because you see some of our crew here. Some of our crew here are like huge guys. And
you have to stay away.
That's them off.
We got to fence Michael in his own little special area. That's great. Now, as we look back at this video, first of all, I can't get over the cuteness.
Yeah.
This is just, they're loving the camera. They're hamming it up. And we're seeing, and you know, I think right here it's a good example because we are seeing a variety of different sizes of the dogs, and they seem to be playing quite well together.
Yeah, they usually do. Dogs, they're pack animals. They love being with other dogs for the most part.
So is there an etiquette, by the way? Like, you know, do you, you know, for people when you go with your dog, is there, like, is something that we don't know about, some etiquette that you should watch out for?
Well, the dog parks have most of them have a double gated area. So you keep your dog on leash until you get into that double gate area.
Okay.
And if you're new to the park and there are other dogs, a lot of times you may want to keep the dog on a leash to introduce to other dogs.
Okay.
Before you let them just kind of...
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's important, I think. Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Rachel.
No problem.
And I want to also let everybody know that this is actually Rachel's last week on New Mexico Style with us, but we want to thank you so much, you and all of our friends at Clark's Pet Emporium, for being with us the first 3 months of our show and giving us such useful information. Thank you so very much for that, and you really taught us so many things. I think a lot of people will be grateful. Yes. Now, I want everybody to remember there are 2 Clark's locations, one on Lomas, west of San Mateo, the other on Manal, west of Wanchabo. Both are on the south sides of the streets, and here is what you can expect to find when you go to Clark's.
If you haven't been to Clark's Pet Emporium, we want to give you a look inside. This is a full-service store. Let's just take collars and leashes for dogs. And you want a selection. Check this out. You can waste your time looking for what you want at some big box store that sells everything, or you can get precisely what you want at Clark's. Then check out the merchandise for aquariums. Filters, chemicals, plants, gravel, all the accessories you could ever want right in one location. And then there are the fish themselves. There's an extensive selection of all types of fish. You could lose an entire afternoon in the aquarium room alone. We caught up with a bunny having lunch while we were there. Met a shy chinchilla. Saw some frolicking ferrets. Watched the vast assortment of birds. And even caught up with some reptiles. Then, if you're looking for the finest nutrition for your pet, there's an extensive selection of all kinds of pet foods, from frozen to dry, for every type of animal, amphibian, and reptile. And then there are the toys. Squeakers of all tones, toys for all your pets. Clark's is the place for all your pet needs.